My name is Sterling Knight. I started beekeeping in 2017. Grew up farming with my dad, just a small farm. Had a few cows, a few chickens, some goats along the way. And see, my neighbor, he was old. I thought he was an old fella. He was probably in his 50s at the time, but uh, he would bring us a jar of honey. He would go follow a bee, find a bee out there somewhere, and follow it until he found the hive up in a tree, and then he would rob that tree and bring us some honey. Of course, that jar of honey had bee parts and all kind of junk in it, but it sure did taste good. Uh, that got started my fascination with honeybees, and I bought a couple of nukes, which is a short for nucleus colony, and just a 5 frame box of bees, and it's a starter hive basically. I got them, put them in my boxes, and big 10 frame boxes like these behind me, and I was hooked at that moment. Like, it's amazing, the bees, that just being around them. They no, there's no way you can deny that there's a God. Seeing bees acting the way they do in nature, how they naturally swarm, and uh, they work together as one giant organism. Really, the colony is one giant organism, and each bee on its own can't survive, but uh, the bees as a whole, a colony, they survive, reproduce to make my local honey, because everybody wants local honey. And so I would do my best to make honey up here and leave them up here, and then by around June, middle of June, 1st of July, I would take them back down there to South Georgia and put them on cotton. Try to make some cotton honey, which it's unique, it's different. Has a lot of people say it's more of a buttery flavor. If you look it up on the internet, they have all kind of different descriptions of it. I don't know why they're all different, but maybe it's the region or locality of it. But I take them down there in July, like I said, and make a little cotton honey, or at least so up here is everything quits blooming in July. So I would take them down there, and they would give them something to eat, and over winter, keep them down there through fall, and back into spring, put them on blueberries. Just repeat the cycle. Uh, in what was it, 2020, when I was selling bees, Zach Thomas, well, his one of his neighbors bought some bees from me, a couple of nukes. He's really been a blessing to me. He, of course, he's a man of God, and God sent Zach to come into my life and help me, and he's helped me along my journey and finding myself and my true self with what God has intended me to be, and to be the man, the husband, father that God intends me to be. On top of it, because I got a full-time job on top of this, and between the two, I think it's like having 3 full-time jobs. But hopefully, Lord willing, I'll be able to make this bee business into a full-time job, and selling honey, selling bees, and of course through it, I want to be able to witness to people, other men, and uh, bring other men and children into it, because that's the future of it right there, is the kids. And my son he'll help with beekeeping. He's not really into it right now. I'm hoping that he's 12. I'm hoping he'll grow into it, and he likes eating the honey, so he needs to know where it comes from, right? One of the lessons God's taught me through beekeeping is patience. I've always heard, you don't pray for patience because God's going to teach you how to be patient. But I don't know how much I really agree with that or not. But I have learned patience because it's not an instant thing with bees. You have to work hard at it, and you make the bees. You put in all kind of a hard week or two, splitting the bees, getting stung, and it's hot and sweaty. Even though you do that at the beginning of March, so it can be a little cold, but you're working, you're busting your tail, trying to make those bees, and then at the end of that week or so, you put in your queen cells, and I've bought most of them in the past, but you can make them also, and you put those queen cells in, you let it sit for 3 weeks, and you're hoping and praying they take on, and you go out there and start looking at them, and I've had them, you'll have 90% take on some of them in some years, and last year I got about 50%. That was real disheartening, and yes, you're hope and pray to God that they're taking on, but you end up taking it as a lesson that God's teaching you to be patient, and there's something bigger coming on. And I had that, it just now hit me. I had that small take on bees, 50%, and I was pretty disheartened, but that was last spring. If I'd have had, let's say I had 175 at the time, and that was really more than I could take care of. And that summer, my son got sick with Crohn's disease, and he didn't weigh but 90 pounds, and he lost 20 pounds, got down to 70, and that's a lot for a little kid. But so I pretty much put the bees on the back burner, and if I'd have had 300 like I wanted, I would have probably lost a lot of bees. I guess just that one just now hit me. Looking back, that was a blessing right there, that I only had 175 or so bees to try to get through summer and fall, winter. Luckily now my son we got him on a infusion about every 6 or 8 weeks. It's 8 weeks right now, and he's doing great. He's got his weight back. He feels good. So hopefully with that, this summer, normally I try to make my splits in the spring and increase my bees, but I was trying to make a bigger honey crop this year. So I'm waiting till after the honey crop to split my bees. So maybe that right there will be my time to hit that 300 mark I've been wanting to hit. But going back to the patience, God's really taught me to be patient, and rely on Him. I know that He's going to provide what I need, and provision that's in the Bible, several places, New Testament, Old Testament. He's always providing for us.
What are the consequences to society if bees aren't thriving?
Bees make up, or don't make up, but they contribute to about I don't know, I'm sure it's over 50%, 75% or more of uh, fruits and vegetables, pollinating fruits and vegetables. And of course, without fruits and vegetables, we're human race, our society, uh, all of our livestock in general. There's a lot of that's going to go away. Uh, there's no way the earth can sustain this many people without bees to pollinate. Uh, Locally here in South Georgia, and more so in South Georgia because that's where your big ag is, some up here in North Georgia, you're going to have pollinating blueberries and blackberries. That's what I did recently. In the past few years, I didn't do it this year, but the past 2 or 3 years I've pollinated blueberries and blackberries. And they can pollinate a little on their own. They're not going to be berryless. But the blueberry guy, the farmer that I was dealing with, he said that they'll still make a blueberry, but you can walk up to that tree and shake the limb, and the blueberries weren't pollinated. They just fall right off. And so in the process of the tractor going through there and uh, picking the berries, a lot of them will just fall on the ground.
What do you love most about beekeeping?
Just working with the bees in general. Just I love being in nature. And when you're in that beehive, you cannot deny that there's a God. Just how they how God programmed them to operate. They go out and they know if they need to forage for pollen, or if they need more nectar, because the pollen is like their protein source, and nectar is their carbohydrate source. They know what they need uh, to provide for the baby bees, the larvae in there. They know what they need most of, and they'll go and get that and bring it back to the hive. Of course, when there's abundance, like right now in the springtime, you got an abundance of nectar coming in, so they're storing that for their winter feed. And it's just amazing to watch what the bees do and how they do it and why they do it, and that they're programmed by God, the Creator, to do that.